Calling all detectives. A man whose mind contained 1,000,000 facts walked out on a stage and could barely remember his own name. That is the situation on this page from my casebook. The casebook of Jerry Browning, private detective. People lose all sorts of things. And when they do, a private detective like me, Jerry Browning, sometimes gets the case. There's something about the way people in show business carry themselves that identifies them every time. That's how I knew the man who entered my office was showfolk even before he handed me his card. I glanced at it, then, "Sit down, Mr. Mysto. You're a magician, eh?"
"I, Mysto, a magician? Certainly not. I, Mr. Browning, am a memory marvel. My brain is the repository of 1,000,000 interesting facts. Ask me anything, anything."
I grinned. "Okay. What's the population of Nome, Alaska?" Mysto wrinkled his brow.
"Nome, Alaska? Childishly simple, but I don't know the answer."
I stared at him. "Well, how about this one, then? What's the area of Texas?"
"The area of Texas is... I'm afraid I don't know. Mr. Browning, I can't remember anything. With my memory gone, my living is gone. You're a detective. Help me find my memory."
When Mr. Mysto, the memory marvel, lost his memory, he asked me to help him find it again. I was driving Mysto back to the Casablanca Club, where he was the headliner of the floor show.
"My memory deserted me as I went on for the second show last night. I just blanked out, Mr. Browning. I pretended to be sick, got off somehow, but I don't know what I'll do tonight. If this gets out, I'm finished, washed up."
"What's your real name? Where do you come from?"
"George Peabody, Erie, Pennsylvania."
"Why?" "Just a test to see whether you had a complete amnesia, but you haven't." I shook my head. "I understand. Well, I'll do what I can." There was a swarthy, heavy-set man waiting in Mysto's dressing room.
"Mr. Damati, Mr. Browning, Jerry here is a friend of mine."
Damati glowered at Mysto.
"Don't care who he is. All I want to know is, you in shape to go on tonight or not?"
Mysto looked at me helplessly. I twisted my face into a leer. "He'll go on tonight, but first he pays me the money he owes me, see?" Mysto's mouth sagged open in surprise, but Damati got it, or thought he did.
Oh-ho! So that's what made you sick. Okay, Mysto, if you got yourself on a hook to gamblers, you get yourself off the best way you can. But remember, you work tonight or you're through."
Poor Mysto looked ready to collapse. I helped him to a chair. "I hated to do that, Mysto, but it's the only kind of alibi a man like Damati understands." Mysto nodded weakly.
"Yes, but what happens tonight? I can't go on. I don't even remember the capital of Maine."
"It's Augusta, and we'll worry about tonight when we come to it. Now, what happened here last night?" Mysto looked around, shrugged.
"Nothing."
"You're not even trying. Did you have a visitor, Damati, somebody in the show, or a stranger?"
I'm trying to think. Visitor. Oh, it's no use. I can't remember.
"What's your name?"
"George Peabody.
"Where are you from?"
"Erie, Pennsylvania."
"Who was here last night?"
"Janie Morland." "Janie Morland? Yes, she's the singer."
"Okay. Now, we're getting someplace. Why did Janie visit you?"
"Just to talk. She's a nice kid, young enough to be my daughter, though I wouldn't want that to get around. She comes from Crawford, PA, which practically makes us hometown neighbors."
"What did you two talk about last night?"
"Just hometown stuff."
"Let it go for now. You'd better start dressing for your act. I'll go try to find Janie Morland."
"But I tell you, I can't go on."
"Don't worry about it. Just get dressed." Nobody answered my knock at Janie's dressing room. I tried the doorknob, was just about to go in when...
"Just a minute, Bob. Where do you think you're going?"
I turned to face Damati. "Well, I wanted to talk to Miss Morland. Figured she could give me a line on this Welsh Mysto."
"Now, look, pal. If Mysto owes you dog, get it. But don't bother the rest of my people. Anyway, you won't find Jenny. She quit last night, walked out."
"Walked out or was carried out?"
"I don't care whose mob you're tied up with. Get out of here and stay out."
I got, but not out. Instead, I went back to Mysto's dressing room, opened the door. Mysto, I apologize in advance for what I'm going to do. Slugging Mysto was a dirty trick, but it was the only positive reason I could give him for not going on with his act. I went out to my car, drove back to my office, and really went to work with the telephone. What I wanted was to locate Jenny Moreland, if she was alive. At the fourth booking agent I phoned...
Sure, Jenny quit the Casablanca Club. Who are you and what's it to you?
I explained who I was and how urgent it was for me to get in touch with her. Finally, I learned that Jenny was working at another club way out on Green Oaks Road.